Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman here again from Paleo Problem Long Island, MikeTheCaveman.com. And today's question is, what can we do about an ulcer? I'm the Caveman! And the answer is, proton pump inhibitors. Wait, no! Put it down. Put down the Prilosec. Absolutely not. In fact, that's actually going to help lead to a vicious cycle that's going to cause more issues in the long term. So as to not turn this into an hour-long video, we're going to go through some of the things pretty quick. But at the root of most ulcers, in fact, roughly 90% of duodenal in the small intestine ulcers and 65% of gastric or in the stomach ulcers are the result of an infection by H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori. And we were fortunately able to find out that it is a primary cause thanks to the insane antics of Nobel Prize-winning physician Barry Marshall, who decided it would be a good idea to ingest a vial full of H. pylori in order to induce an ulcer at a certain point. While he expected it to occur several years later, it occurred in days. So we know H. pylori, major factor when it comes to ulcers. Its distinctive helical shape is actually thought to be an evolutionary advantage to be able to burrow through the mucosal lining of the stomach. But another one of its adaptations, its ability to lower stomach acid or to raise the pH, ends up causing a host of potential problems. Normally, your stomach, the acid therein, it actually prevents pathogenic bacteria from getting down into the rest of your body, and at the same time, it also prevents the bacteria, the normal ones that are in your gut, from getting back up into your esophagus and stomach. Your stomach is a relatively sterile environment because at a pH of less than 3, it will kill pretty much all bacteria within 15 minutes. Moreover, that stomach acid is essential to induce the secretion of enzymes to help break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and for the proper digestion and absorption of various micronutrients such as iron, vitamins B12 and 9 or folate, as well as calcium and zinc. Taking all of that into account, when there is insufficient stomach acid, you are at a better risk of micronutrient deficiency, of having malabsorbed carbohydrates get digested by other bacteria, all of which can lead to severe downstream effects, including small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, autoimmune conditions and allergies, anemia, as well as heartburn or gastrointestinal reflux disorder, which brings us right back to the beginning. Don't take antacids and proton pump inhibitors. They're going to reduce stomach acid and lead that vicious cycle. See where we're going with this? So what should you actually do? Well, there's unfortunately a number of things. Number one, short term, if you need immediate relief, get some more acid in your stomach. How are you going to do that? Number one, look at things like apple cider vinegar and other fermented foods. Things like sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, things we always talk about. That will help to promote a little bit of stomach acid release. From there, you're going to want to look at bitter herbs, things like ginger and dandelion and peppermint. After that, you're actually going to want to make sure the lining is intact. We do that with gelatin, bone broth, and DGL, or deglycerinated licorice. So the bone broth and the gelatin will help repair the epithelial lining, and then the mucosal layer, that's going to be healed by the DGL. The epithelial layer is the one you're thinking of when you think of the hole that's created by that ulcer, whereas the mucosal layer is the layer above that the H. pylori is actually designed to burrow through. So you want to maintain the integrity of both of those. From there, help to ensure adequate digestive support. So you're going to want to look at things like fibrenza, so systemic enzymes. Specifically, in this case, we're looking at the pepsin and the pancreatin are going to be particularly important. From there, many are going to see benefit from supplementing with betaine HCl, which will help replace that stomach acid. Next up, a quality probiotic. Something like, wait for it, Megaspore. Exactly. Even though in this case, your stomach acid is pretty reduced and most probiotics probably will get through, this is going to ensure that you have proper colonization and help to change the bacteria that are in your gut. You may also want to consider some herbal antimicrobials, things like grapefruit seed extract or potentially berberine. But at the end of this, you're also going to want to make sure you're eliminating those refined sugars, those starches, and definitely those grains and legumes. You want to make sure that you're not feeding those pathogenic bacteria, as the bacteria that have overgrown in the small intestine go and feed the H. pylori. They produce hydrogen gas, and that hydrogen gas is one of the preferred energy sources for H. pylori. So, your biggest takeaways for how do we get rid of an ulcer? You need to focus, wait for it, on your gut. make sure you have adequate stomach acid and put down the antacids, acid blockers, and acid reducers. Those are going to be problematic in the long term. They're actually going to contribute to the problem. So you need to actually focus on healing your gut lining. That part's pretty obvious because there's damage being done, particularly to your stomach or your duodenum. But from there, consider some herbal antimicrobials, definitely getting some probiotics and some systemic enzymes, and potentially even some betaine HCl. Eat your fermented foods and bitters while avoiding those quick digesting carbohydrates. And for immediate relief, something like apple cider vinegar should work wonders. Now, there are caveats to that, which we've discussed before, but without a directed plan, that's what you're going to want to do. So, if you want some more information, though, on those ulcers and other gut health related things, take a look at this playlist over here. Either way, you know what to do. Like and subscribe down below, share it with your friends, head over to Instagram and Twitter and follow me at Mike the Caveman, over on Facebook at Paleo Problem Long Island, and of course, over at MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said, have a wonderful rest of your day. Put down the antacids. I'll see you tomorrow. Antiquity. That waking up early is